So I just want to welcome you all to the Authenticity Calling podcast, where we get really real, have authentic and open conversations with real life people. And just a reminder, this is unedited, unscripted, unfiltered. You get us exactly as we are. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Andrea. And your name online is Girisha, is that right? Am I pronouncing that correct? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you. And she is an orgasm coach. So I can't wait to dive in and learn more about what you do and how you do it. And I love that we're both wearing our power blue. Synchronized without talking. So this is actually our very first interaction. So Girisha, please, Andrea, tell us more about your title, what you do, how you do, and a lot about how you show up in the world.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I really welcome everybody on the live, and also if you are watching replay, I'm really interested in that what you are taking and what are the takeaways of our conversation. And I'm an orgasm coach and helping women become confident in their orgasm, and so they can heal their trauma and also abusive relationships. And I've created a holistic method in the last 20 years, experiences all around the world. And it's called Empress O method. So helping women to really transform the old and the past, and opening a new chapter in their life.
Wow. I have so many questions for you because I feel like that. Yeah.
I'm ready to answer
all. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you so much for dedicating your life to this, because I feel like there are so many women, myself included, who we've had these experiences. I was just thinking about it, not surprisingly, everything's so synchronistic, but just kind of got thrown back into an experience I had when I was very little, which really put a different container around my sexuality. It's almost like it limited me. It made me feel like I'm not safe if I'm radiant. I'm not safe if I'm attractive. I'm not safe if I'm showing up in the world as I am in my full magic, And that happened to me at a very, very young age. And so I wonder, I get so curious. Like, I know there are so many women. I would be cautious to say most women in our world at some point have had some sort of experience with their sexuality where they haven't felt safe. So I'm really curious in terms of your clientele and who you work with, who are the clients that you really focus on and work with? I know you mentioned trauma, but it's not always necessarily an overt trauma that we experience that keeps us kind of locked up from accessing ourselves and our pleasure. So if you could speak a little bit more on that.
Yeah, thank you very much. You mentioned safety because it's my key, the first element of I'm working with this first step. Because when we are not confident, where we cannot connect with, when we don't feel pleasure, and we are not safe in there. And then I'm really grateful that you pointed out the key thing, that we lost the safety, especially in our early childhood. And today I had a trauma healing massage. It was 5.5 hours.
Wow.
And it was so beautiful. And it's absolutely, it was in the second month in a womb. So, that right before, way before our birth, right? And so it was so magical how it was unfold to see this beautiful woman, that why she couldn't get out of her head and also feel it. And because most of us want to do the pleasure or the orgasm, right? And it's not happen. It's just kind of like happening. We are receiving. I'm just saying that we are receiving, we are allowing to happen. But for that, we need to be relaxed, get out of our head and connecting with our body. And to do that, we need to feel safe.
Yeah.
We need to feel safe in the space with
Yes.
our partner and also in our body. And why I'm working with trauma as well, because as we especially in our early childhood, so we always find the root in our early childhood when we, because of a kind of like shocking experience, a shocking moment, we freeze.
Yes.
So if I'm freezing, then I don't feel, I'm numb. I don't feel any sensation. So our body is working properly. So we have the orgasm, and I really want to kind of like the myth that not all women can have orgasm. I really want to kind of, how can I say that?
Debunk it.
Yes, all we have it. Everybody, our beautiful body is capable for it.
Yes.
Just these kind of like abuses, traumas, disconnected us from experience it.
Yeah, I want to let that one land, because I come from a background in healthcare, and I know we're trying our best to be accepting, and we're trying our best to be like kind of accept people where they are. And some people they believe that they can't have an orgasm, and they've kind of accepted that, they've made peace with it, right? And so other people have, they have pelvic pain, for example, which causes them that feeling of unsafety. A lot of times it is because of trauma, and sometimes it's conscious, and other times it's unconscious. And so, I love what you said, that all of us are created to be able to have access to those parts of us. And there is some work to be done to access it sometimes. But this belief system that, you're not meant to have it, it's not for everyone, and you're not meant to have it is just simply not true. So thank you for dispelling that myth, because it is such a powerful experience when we are actually connected in our bodies, when we are actually able to fully open up and be in that trusting, safe space. And so, in terms of your clients, would you work with just about anyone, or is it people who specifically have some sort of trauma that they're aware of? Is it people who don't experience orgasm? Is it people who, because for me, when I think about orgasms, I used to think that I was having orgasms until I had a real orgasm. And then I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Okay. And even now, sometimes when I learn about sort of like Tantra and all these different things, I'm like, have I really had like a real orgasm? So it's so funny to kind of like look at the evolution as I've done my own personal development work, as I've gone into my traumas, as I've opened up. It's almost like the evolution of the orgasm happens. So I'm curious, like, how do you, first of all, who are the clients you take, but then also, how do you define what an orgasm really is and what it's not?
Yeah, I love your question. So most of the time, especially women find me, but also I have men clients, both in especially in person with the trauma healing massage, and also a different kind of tantric massages, and also coaching programs. So I have one-on-one and online programs, and they found me with the symptoms. So most of the women are feeling that they don't have orgasm, or they have an orgasm really hardly, or with the just the same process, and also, or with alone and with a partner, they cannot do this because maybe they feel shame in their body, they don't feel safe. Maybe they cannot define that they don't feel safe, but somehow they feel itchy to be with a partner, or they have some bad experiences. They were abused, especially recently, the verbal abuse or a mental abuse or emotional abuse. It's much more well known, or they are aware of it. And if they have any female organ problems. like cyst, myoma, vulvodynia, different kind, endometriosis, different kind of vaginal infections, infertility issues, and or if they want to deepen their intimacy and sexuality with their partner.
Okay. Beautiful. So it's a wide range actually of people that you work with. Amazing. And do you usually work with one person, or do you work with, if it's someone who has a partner, do you work with both?
Yes, I'm working with both, and I'm also offering, that if we have a coaching process, then we can also, if they are in Budapest, because for example today there was this lady came from abroad, so it's like from abroad I also invite and welcome. Even I was also invited to Netherlands or to Italy, for a VIP weekend for couples. Beautiful. So, and also in a process, sometimes I'm working in one-on-one and also with the couples together, that we can both, and they can both grow together.
Beautiful, beautiful. So couples work amazing. So if you're in the area, or if you want to invite Andrea Girisha to come see you, she does all of that, which is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And it was funny. We were in Europe this summer. I would have loved to come see you and have a coffee and chat about
maybe
some
next
of this.
time. Next year, I'm also going to, where are you located
Vancouver.
Right now? Vancouver. Yeah. I'm also planning to go there because I have so many friends there. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, maybe we can do a conference or something together and invite women to come and learn it. Well, men too, everyone to come and learn more about this. This is amazing. Yeah, I love that. So next time we'll have to schedule a stop for sure. And I'll have you share your information later for anybody who's listening, who wants to get in touch, who has questions, and who wants to be part of the program. Because I'm sure there's so many people who can benefit from really connecting with themselves. And so on to my next question about, how do you know if you've had an orgasm or not? What is that defining moment?
It's an amazing question because I'm not sure that I can give a definition for that.
Yeah.
And that's why, for example, now I started in my Facebook group, Pleasure Infusion, because we can experience pleasure in so many ways. So, and also, and then the pleasure is a kind of like, for me, it's a wide range of experiences. And also that it's not equal to orgasm, because pleasure we can also experience in different ways, and also, the orgasm we can experience in different ways. And what I'm usually saying, that our female body is magical. It's a miracle, because we can experience orgasms so different ways. And also, not just, most of the women are saying, I don't have orgasm, or I have orgasm, and it's equal, I have or don't have clitoris orgasm.
Okay, yeah.
And
one type.
there is a special for vagina, and also in a womb or cervix, and also in the breast, and also in different erogen zones, and also in the brain and in the throat. So every part of our body is fully kind of like the fountain of orgasm.
I love that. Oh, the fountain of orgasms. Yes. And we open up to that fountain, because something you said earlier really got me stuck in thinking of, how I used to be when I felt unsafe in my own body. I always used to go into my mind, and I used to think, am I doing this right? How is this supposed to look? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be feeling? And it's like that loop system. Now that I'm a coach and I know better, I know now what it means. It's trying to keep us safe, right? It's my body experiencing something that's not safe, and I go into my mind instead of staying in my body, so that I can stay safe. And so I recognize that mental looping, it's the exact opposite of what's going to get me to my orgasm. So what do you recommend for people who are catching themselves in the moment in their heads? Can they do something to drop themselves back into their bodies and just open up. Obviously, if they're in an unsafe situation, get out. But I mean, if they're with a partner who they love and trust, and they're really open to doing this sort of deeper work, and they really want to be able to, is there something that they can do in that moment?
Absolutely. I can also give different things, because I love to have a tool set.
Beautiful.
And then in one moment I found this one better, or I remembered the other one. So basically, if I realize I'm in my mind, which means that we can also translate, which means that I'm not connected with my body. Mm-hmm. Even I'm thinking about tomorrow's to-do list. Or remember, remember, my past good or bad experiences, or I'm in a fantasy. But most of the time we are in a closed eyes at this moment, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really helpful if I can open my eyes. Okay. Because this brings me to the current moment. Mm-hmm. And focusing on the breath. Mm-hmm. And with the longer exhale, I can grounding myself a little bit deeper. Okay. And it's also really good practice in a daily practice to focus on our body sensations. So, for example, I feel tingling on my feet, in my feet right now. I feel the heaviness in my butt. Mm-hmm. I feel that I'm connected to the chair. Mm-hmm. I feel the touch right now. It's so soft. It's so slow. So if we can focus on what are our senses, and also it's also drops us into our body. Beautiful. So the breath. The eye opening, just looking around, where I am right now. Mm-hmm. And maybe any kind of affirmations which I feel safe. Mm-hmm. I'm here and now. Mm-hmm. Whatever is feel you can feel that it's grounding you. Okay. And I'm also using it was here an aura soma. It's an energy. And it's a red and magenta, and it's also helping me to bring into my body, or any kind of aromatherapy. So essential oil, for example, vetiver. It's also helping me to feel more in my body. Mm-hmm. And what else? Saying out loud to my partner, if the connection is there. So whether I can feel safe in the room, I can feel safe with you, but I don't feel safe in my body right now.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, is at what point do you engage the partner? Because a lot of these things are things that we can do on our own, but at what point do we, can we engage our partner and ask for, and what would you recommend to ask for? Would it be to slow down? Would it be to breathe together? Would it be to just, maybe practice soft touch instead of penetration, or whatever, is happening that takes you out of that safety?
Yeah. So these were when answering for your question, that when I realized that I'm in my mind. But what I recommend to work with a partner or invite the partner, it's before the intimate connection. Mm-hmm. So have kind of communication about that. Mm-hmm. What I need, what do I need? Maybe creating a safe bubble. I start to talk about that look, I have this issue. So speaking out loud what I feel. And most of the time, we cannot express it. Just somehow, if we start to talk about this, mm-hmm. then it can happen that I'm scared that my partner will be judged that last time I was in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they'll get in their head.
Yes, and then he will be all the time, that, oh, are you here? Are you here? And it also disconnect, from the experience. So basically, first I would recommend to work it out somehow, to find your own toolkits to work on that. And when and I'm going back to most of the time we don't need we cannot express what we need. A slow touch,
that's it.
or or a hug, or just a kind of like pose a little bit, or change position, or I'm still not ready. So first we need to rediscover our body, because if we are disconnected, then we need to find a way back. And of course, this will be a different level than it was before. And as I mentioned, most of the time we lost this connection long time ago. And we don't know how to feel, because the feelings, the emotions are there. Also the orgasms are there. Just somehow the sensations are lost on a way.
It's like lost in translation. It functions on its own. It's like these different regions are lighting up on their own, but they're not connected. Amazing. Yeah, I love that. And so, I mean, I do deep transformation work with my clients. We go into somatic coaching where, again, you don't have to know what happened, but the body, it's that book, The Body Keeps the Score. The body knows what the trauma is and where it is, and we can work it honestly in just one session. So I know a lot of people don't know that this is possible, but this is possible. We know now. Yeah, what we didn't know before.
I'm working on, and usually I have these long sessions because we are really dive deep, and also rebirthing in the meantime, and also generation patterns cuts happening, and so the first part of this long session is about that everyone can express and share their stories. The mind is relaxed, that the mind was heard, and this was the story of the mind. And even in different kind of methods and techniques, it was that it turned out, and their earlier transformation happened. And now I usually say that now let's see the story of your body, which is completely different.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. The story of the mind and the story of the body. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love that.
And also the breath work is so amazing. And and that's why I'm using the holistic method, because when we have this loop, so for example, I feel shame in my body, and I'm going back to your example that you couldn't feel confident in your body because you had some negative experiences. So in this case, this positive, I feel I'm shining my light, and I feel so sexy right now. But I had some negative experiences, even verbally or emotionally or physically or sexually. Then these two things are attached to each other, and I don't want to feel the pain again, this shame again. But in this case, I don't allow the positive things either.
As well. That's right.
So we need to find a way how we can separate these two things and the connection. And also it could so many different things are happening, because also in the session so many things transform. But basically, going back to there, the body, as you said, keeps the score. So remember, there is a blueprint there, and we are looking for the blueprint, and everything, both consciously and unconsciously, what we inherited, it's blueprinted in our body. But only just 5 to 7% could come up to the surface level. So I'm always working on a way that what is necessary, what is the message for you? Is there any specific or very important message right now what you need to take into consideration? Or we can just transform it without knowing what was that, because most of the time there are a lot of things there. But sometimes the mind needs to have some points what they can connect with, and so we also need to feed the mind not to feel that they are neglected, the mind is neglected.
Exactly. We're not trying to bypass the mind. We're trying to include it in the
Exactly.
process. Totally.
Exactly. And also the other thing is, I heard so many times, that we need to kill the ego.
Oh, I hear that all the time too. And I'm like, no, I don't want to kill any part of myself.
Yes, I don't want to kill a part of me, right? Because when there is a traumatic or shocking experience, then it's kind of like saved our life, right? There is a threat, and there is a survival method. What was at that moment was absolutely essential to survive.
Exactly.
But at the moment, I don't need that. Yes. But it's still, it's still going on like a virus program, right?
Yes.
And what we want to do that kind of like rewrite this program, rewrite this pattern, so the function will be absolutely necessary, but on a different way. Not a limited way, not a kind of like closed or negative emotional way, but an open up, more vital, more pleasurable way.
Yeah.
So that's the way, and we need to also work on all level to get out of the loops.
Beautiful. Yes. Yes. I love that. It's integration. It's acceptance. It's compassion. It's catching. It's acknowledging that the ego wants safety, and it's such a wise part of us. It's just trying to keep us safe. So I love that. Yeah. Integrating all the different parts. So beautiful. I feel like you've shared so much here, so much wisdom, so much value to our clients. And so to our clients, to our listeners, whoever's here. And so at what point would you say, I mean, if somebody's listening right now and they're thinking, oh my goodness, I have a big problem I need to fix, what would you say to that person?
What kind of big problem?
Like for example, like someone's listening to, I'm intuitive and a bit of a visionary. So I'm imagining someone right now is listening to this and thinking, oh my goodness, maybe I haven't had an orgasm my whole life, or maybe, the reason that we're so unhappy in this partnership, or maybe the reason I'm still single is because I don't feel safe in my body. What can I do now?
Yeah, the first one is that what I have also a freebie, because you just started with the safety. So therefore I created a video series, how we can create safety in our body.
Beautiful.
Because most what we define as safe, we have enough money, job, home, family, friends, partner.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yeah, the very bottom one is safe.
Yes. But we don't feel safe in our body, and all of this are kind of like in the outside. Outside.
Totally.
And if we have it, we are okay. We feel that we are safe. But if not, or something changed, then we are looking around, what happened?
Yes.
And that we feel that we are on the floor right now. So therefore I share in this video series how you can create safety in different ways. Because if you can find this safety resource, then anything is happening outside, then you can reconnect with that.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I love that. And so we'll share that resource in the notes for sure. We'll share all of your ways to contact you and how to get in touch with you. And thank you. Yeah, I love that so much. Is safety is the number one thing. And that's actually something we talk about really often in the coaching program that I have right now. I have a mastermind for women who really want to have it all. Not the external it all, like you just said, but going deep inside and really truly being connected to ourselves, really truly experiencing that freedom. And it is true freedom when we tap into our own safety, when we start with ourselves first. It is so empowering, so freeing, and it's not from the outside. Contrary to our belief that if we have the partner that's safe and honest and open, if we have the house that we feel safe in, if we move to a different country, if we, if we have all of these ifs that are outside of us. And so it's really taking that, whether you have the external things or not, if you're not feeling safe and fulfilled and authentic in your body, really truly who you are and able to express who you are. And I love that you shared how important that communication is, but first with ourselves. First, we need to know what feels good for me in my body. And then can I communicate that to myself? Like, how does that sound? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And then being able to communicate it to a partner, perhaps, or the outside world, and it doesn't have to be necessarily with sex and orgasm and all of that. It can be with anything in our world. But in order to communicate our truth, we first need to know what our truth is.
Exactly. And authenticity is very important because it's also connected with the intimacy. And intimacy is not just with a partner. Intimacy with myself. So I really want to also emphasize, and I'm so happy that you brought it also, that that we need to first discover ourselves, rediscover and reconnect with ourselves, and find whether and asking the question whether am I the best partner of myself? And not expecting others to fulfill me. Can I give everything what I expect from others? Can I give it to myself?
Yes. What a beautiful question. And that's something that I often reflect to people, is that life is just a mirror. If you're not satisfied with your partner not showing up for you, that probably means you need to ask yourself, am I showing up for me? Are you showing up for yourself, right? Life is just such a beautiful reflection. And instead of taking responsibility, right? A lot of my clients say, oh, I can't blame my partner. I can't blame the world. I blame myself. I said, well, why don't we spin that around to, I take responsibility for myself, because that is a much more empowered place. And it's the truth. We don't need to blame ourselves. That doesn't help us. It only gets us more stuck, right?
Yes, and in this case, you give the power, your power to the blame, and also this is also coming from our past, and then this is kind of like we're giving away our power, and so many times we did that, and this is what we learned, what we inherited.
Yes.
And we have so many tools to break all of this.
Yes. So I don't know if you're listening right now, but we are breaking intergenerational traumas. Like, this is the suffering that's happening in our world right now is because one person, and I had this vision in the shower this morning. That's why I trust that it's to share here. But one person had some kind of conflict with another person. They did something bad to them. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, the other person said, I'm going to get you back. And instead of meeting it with love and compassion and recognizing, oh, the person that hurt me, they must really be hurting. Let me approach them with love. Let me approach them with compassion. Let me catch them where they're at. Let me use forgiveness. Let me see, how is this a reflection of me? What can I do to take responsibility? And had they met that person with love, then maybe a war would never have started, right from the beginning. And so where our patterns in our genetic codes, our patterns in our ways of being in our world, it's very much ego driven. And when I say that, ego's trying to protect us. And we are more than that. We have the capacity and the consciousness to overcome our egoic drives of survival and protection. We can say, wait a second, I catch the pattern that's happening. I see that I'm threatened, and I'm going to choose to respond in a way that's better for us both, for us all, for humanity, for Mother Nature, for everything that's happening. And so we have a major awakening happening in our world. And I'm going to get a little esoteric with it, but bring it back, because it all starts with us. The reason the world is in this sort of like, I imagine myself in a moment where my boundaries are being crossed and I don't have patience for it anymore. And I'm just screaming at this point, because that's what our world is saying. Stop. You need to hear me, right? And so I take that back to me, and I think, how can I connect more soulfully with myself, with nature, with Mother Nature, with, you know, my God-given truth, and really show up authentically for what I'm here to do. And yes, it's scary sometimes. Like sometimes something will come in mind and it'll be like, okay, this is your next evolution. You know, this is your promotion. You need to step into this place, which you know nothing about. And so much of it is trusting the process. And so I'm just curious about how you got to this point where you became an orgasm coach. Like what brought you here into this career, into this calling? You're obviously very good at what you do. And so, yeah, I'm just curious about your path and your journey to this place.
Yeah, thank you. Before that, may I just connect to your example, because when you are shouting out that stop because you broke my boundary, it means that your little inner child shouted out loud and he or she wants to heal, and that's why we are having this connections, we are having the physical problems, because this is a sign that our soul wants to be healed through our bodies, through our connections.
Yes, triggers are such a gift. I say this all the time. People are like, are you, is there something wrong with you? I'm like, no, really, triggers are such a gift. It means it's ready. Yeah, it's ready to heal. I love that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
So, you know, I'm an economist. So I have 3 diplomas in economy. And when I was 30, I was in my 20s, I was in a high position. And I was working in the EU accession process, and I was working hard. And I had no clue. I mean, before that, I had no clue that I had any, you know, traumas, or my relationship was not working at all. And so I was not aware of so many things. I was just following the, you know, the patterns, my generational patterns. And then when I was 30, literally, and that year, all of my area of my life was a kind of like crisis. So, and that I started my inner journey. And then I realized that basically I thought that I had no problem with the orgasm, but I took pills, hormonal pills, when I became frigid fully. And I was not aware of either. You know, I just had no libido at all. But, you know, my creation was in my work. So I was absolutely work alcoholic. And I started my deep inner journey. And looking back, I also had I was very sick in my childhood as well. So I also had some near-death experiences. But at that time, I was not aware of it. So later on, when I started to deepen my connection with myself, and somehow I found myself in a Tantra course when I realized that I have some issues with my orgasm. And also, you know, I realized that I had so many different kind of abuses, which was natural for me before, because this was how I grew up.
You only know what you know. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So parallelly of my international project works, I started to do different retreat and coaching programs and different kind of healing methods. And I traveled around the world. And it's very interesting because this is one part of me, and also the international projects work are the other part of me. And most of the time I was asked how you can manage this together. And because I started with the energy healing work, and most of the other friends who just did this like Reiki, it was called differently, but like Reiki, and they were just flying away, you know, that they had no grounding in the earth. And I was also offered that, look, you had so many opportunities, you were in Nepal, and so it's like it's not coincidence, you have to do this. And then look, this is part of me, and then I don't want to lose it, because this was my grounding, also my financial, and also that, you know, in the energy healing work I was flying, but it was like grounding me,
the anchor that pulls you back.
Yes, and this is like, you know, it's flowing together, and I really love it. And of course, for a while, I was not talking about this, and but I was working in Serbia, and my colleagues in the public administration, they found my Facebook page, and they asked about me because, you know, I didn't put anything into my work. I just give myself, and they realized that I'm something different. You know, I was so nice, and I was helping. I was not like in other experts who were just, you know, I'm the expert, and, you know, I know better, and then you are just stupid. But I want, you know, my intention was fully teach them and give them the tools, you know, and that was a little bit strange and new for them, and that's how they found. And then some of the from there and other countries are also in Turkey, in the even in the ministry building. I had some Osho meditations, you know, in the lunch break. So somehow, you know, that part of me could also help in the my clients and my coworkers to find something else in their life and reconnected with themselves and a deeper level. And yes, so I really enjoy both, and this is how I also can help more, for example, business women, how they can use their orgasmic capacity for creation, for manifestation.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful, so juicy. I feel like we could talk forever. And I love that you shared that at first you felt like you had to keep both separate, because that's very much you see in the background here, that's my 9 to 5, my work, right? And then there's my healing space. And it's so, yeah, I went into medicine because I've always known I'm a healer. And I recognized, at one point I recognized, wait a second, Western medicine is maybe not my healing modality. And I recognize a coaching is, I'm a visionary. I see people in their essence. I catch them where they're at and I call them to that. And now it's interesting because as I have sort of removed these misunderstandings that, you know, I have to show up specifically in a certain way in one role and specifically in a certain way in another role, as soon as I've just said, you know what, I am who I am, I'm going to show up as I am. And if you don't like me, that's okay. But you know what, this is who I am. And through that process of authenticity, of really embracing myself. And yes, of course, I speak more professionally at certain tables and I speak more relaxed at other tables. And, you know, there are different dynamics of how I get to show up based on how I choose to hold myself. But this is who I am. And I can show up fully in all the areas. And yes, I am here to serve. And I just love that you said, you know, you can help people here, you can help people there, and you will be invited when you start to show up authentically to all of the tables you're meant to be at. But until we remove those misunderstandings of like, I have to be, and that sort of very masculine approach, that energy of like control, it's like, I just get to be.
Yeah, it's
such a relief.
Spaciousness. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's expansive. It's like literally you step feet into your essence and it's like, this is what it's supposed to be like. Yeah. Yeah. So beautiful. And I really
we have much more energy. We have much more energy. And even we are let's say working hard, but as we are enjoying, it's not a work. It's not a 8 to 5 work, but because it's somehow it's helping us. And this week I also had I was invited to how was it called, a kind of like coaching group coaching on about that who I am as a coach. And what I received as a coach, because when we are meeting with someone, we are also evolving. It also, you know, the connection is also help us to become a better version of ourselves. So every single connection, every single case, every single story could help us and have an opportunity for us to heal our wounds.
Absolutely. Yeah, that goes back to life as a mirror, every experience. And that's why the coaching industry is such a beautiful place to be as a coach, but also as someone who is receiving, is to be able to see life is a mirror. Like, I really get you because I've been there. and you're teaching me as much as I'm teaching you. I feel like every coaching experience is a mastermind. It's for both. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for the evolution of humankind. And yeah, I love that so much. So beautiful. Yeah, any last thoughts or something you want to leave the audience with? Maybe it's a saying or a quote or something that you really strongly believe in that you want to share.
This just it came into my mind that we
Yeah.
need a real connection, as you just said in the introduction. This is not this is a real conversation, and we are real human beings. And it's so important, especially in the last more than 3 years, 3.5 years, that online world is so amazing, because otherwise we couldn't meet.
Absolutely.
But we need real connection. So especially in a relationship,
Yes.
we need real touch. But if you are a single right now, then you are with yourself. You can hug yourself, because it's so healing. And don't wait for others. Don't wait for others, and give. And that, just one more sentence for the orgasm, because I'm not sure that I answered the question fully. That orgasm is emerging in different ways. It can be really subtle vibration. It can be a very like volcano energy, or if you have very your body can move in different ways. So it can unfold in really different ways. And it's very important. You need to define for yourself as pleasure, as loneliness, as connection. You need to create your own definition for everything, because your own story, your own history, and your own life is your own. It's unique. And if you receive something from others, then their story, their history, their experiences are there. So be brave enough to create your own vocabulary and definitions for everything. And I really love to create this when I'm in a group space, or in one-on-one, that this is what I understand on this and this, because then that even our sensations are different. So you can explain to me, I can explain to you, but you will translate into your experiences.
Yes, beautiful. And again, that comes back to authenticity. It's like we get to define our own. And I love what you said, that an orgasm might just be this tiny little vibration, this little energy that's happening, little compared to the volcano, but so powerful if you stay with it, and if you can be present with it and fully embrace and experience it. Because I love that, to define it yourself. There's nobody else that can tell you what's more right for you than you. But it's that permission slip to say, oh, my orgasm doesn't have to look like what I saw on TV. In fact, most of that is totally fake. But my orgasm doesn't have to look like my girlfriend's, who just shared with me this amazing night that she had. My orgasm looks like this, and that is mine. And it doesn't have to be like my partner's. Some people are loud and moan and kick and scream, and other people are silent and internalize and breathe. And so, yeah, I love that invitation to make it your own and really define it for yourself. And it's so
and
juicy.
Discover, because it's infinite, and every single moment it's different. So there are no two same, or even maybe similar, yes, but not the same, because we don't have the same moments anytime. So therefore, it's an amazing journey to discover and discover right now your body, with your touch, with your sensations. And also, I would like to offer a free complimentary laser coaching session for 30 minutes for everyone who is here, and you want to dive deep a little bit more around your pleasure, your body, your authenticity, how you can connect deeper with your authentic self.
You are so generous. Thank you so much,
Thank
Girisha.
you.
Andrea, you are such a gift. Thank you for your generosity. How can people book with you? Where can they find you? What's your Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, it's Facebook Girisha Andrea, Facebook and Instagram Girisha Andrea, and I also have a Facebook group. It's called Live Your Best Orgasmic Life, whatever, right? Whatever else, what else? And now I'm also having a 15 minutes daily dose of pleasure infusions. So I'm also sharing what kind of different ways how you can embrace and how you can connect with your pleasure.
Beautiful. I am joining that group right now. So thank you
Okay,
so much for
you are really
sharing.
welcome.
And
Yeah.
I'll post it on the Facebook and we'll stay in touch. Maybe we can do a follow-up. I had a vision of potentially bringing something and being coached live on air, which is wild to me, but it happened. So I'm going to trust it. So maybe in the future we can do
Yeah,
something like that
yeah, absolutely.
just to
Yeah,
give
thank
that full
you.
permission. Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
thank
your
you very
time
much. Thank
today.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful day, love.
Thank you.
All right, let's see.